Thank you. I think we have to move on because it's getting late. So, Derek, and I think this will be the last intervention. I don't know. This is already 1 hour of discussion. I don't know if you...
We'll finish as possible. Yeah.
Thank you.
If the participants and the organizers are willing to continue, that's fine with me. But Derek.
I was just thinking about the kind of regulatory framework issue that you raised. And I just wanted to clarify something, I guess, through a question. Adam Zaretsky was operating inside of the regulations, but his work still raises some communication concerns. Yeah. I also think it's quite a thin line between cookery and food science. Yeah. But artists operate in a way that I would describe as kind of illegal. There's an illegality about art practice. That's not to say it's amoral, but it's not all that it's, you know, I'm not saying it's illegal either, but it has an illegality. It's kind of outside of that in some way. So, but I think artists engaging with big science, yeah, have to operate inside its regulatory framework. Indeed, they're possibly even engaging with big science in order to engage with its regulatory framework to test its edges, where the boundaries of it might be, because big science, you know, is in some way like a site. And my background interests are, you know, I've come through installation art practice. So thinking of science as a site is a kind of thing that I guess a mechanism for thinking about this. The other thing I mean, I know you're conscious we want to get out of here, but or maybe you want to get out. Okay, but the other thing, many other areas of practice, many other areas of culture. You talked about science being an aspect of culture, and I believe it is. Many other areas of culture have amateur practitioners who, you know, maybe don't produce fine pieces in that area of practice. Filmmaking, yeah, YouTube is a good example of a kind of amateur community, maybe not producing work that a filmmaker might consider as valuable as the best examples of artist filmmaking. Where is the room for amateur science in this? What happens when the young people that you were describing start experimenting, even in a regulatory controlled way, with embryos in their bedrooms because the tools, techniques and processes of science are available?
Actually, that is a very good question to ask Ana Noronha, because a great deal of what Ciência Viva does is to promote this amateur science within the younger generation, younger people.
Well, some days ago there was some explosions in a garage by kids, but I can guarantee that were creating themselves explosives, but I can guarantee that they were not from Ciência Viva projects. But that problem exists. We are fostering the attitude of scientists, of being a scientist. But we hopefully think that teachers are also giving them some ethical limits and some general knowledge about science and its purpose and its ethics. So these kids are like amateur scientists, but they have peers in their schools, which we are also addressing, teachers and schools. But of course there are lots of amateur scientists and there are lots of experiments in the internet that you can do, and also sometimes that have puzzling outcomes, and some of which are not yet exactly explained. There are lots of little open problems. Of course, there are problems that nobody cares about, like some strange fluid effect or something, but some people really address these kind of things and then put them in the internet. Let's hope they don't do anything harmful.
I just wanted to, I don't know, this was just an idea that occurred to me right now from hearing all of you and hearing the other panelists, that we were saying earlier that science, you were saying earlier that science is very regulated, and I know that much of that regulation is regulation within a space, within the science lab, because you're researchers, scientists, hardcore scientists work in the lab, they don't work at home. And so the regulations are made within that space. And it feels to me that many of the regulations with ethical concerns and safety concerns in terms of science are made for those spaces. Maybe we shouldn't be regulating those spaces, we should be regulating the practices and the objects of the practice.
Okay, and on that note, I think we finish. I would like, before we finish, I just want to comment something that I think was the greatest phrase of the day from Nicole, Nicola. She was saying about bringing art out of the ivory tower, and I've always heard about the science being in the ivory tower, so I'm very happy that art is replacing science in the ivory tower. So thank you very much to all panel members and to the audience and to the organizers.